So I thought I'd film because this is the first time I'm actually filming when I'm in the midst of my morning sickness, and I kind of want this to be a real depiction of how it is. And I'm not feeling great today. I have an exam tomorrow. I managed to get through a week of exams, thank God. 3 practical exams, like face-to-face with patients and doctors, and now I've got 2 written exams, and I've been trying to study all day. Managed to get through a good amount of hours, like 6-7 hours, but now I am waning. I've got such a headache. I feel so nauseous. I was retching as soon as I woke up this morning, and nothing came up because it was first thing in the morning, but it was still so painful, just like reaching like that. So yeah, I am 8 weeks today or tomorrow, so 2 months pregnant with our little Tony Bean. I'm so thankful for this child, but it's just really, really hard. I've told 2 friends here in Cyprus and family on my husband's side. No one knows on my side actually yet, just my husband's side, which is quite interesting. But I'm really close to my soon-to-be sister-in-law and my mother-in-law now, so it's been nice having them to talk to about things. But yeah, I've been really struggling so far. I know I look terrible, and this is probably not the best angle that I'm vlogging at, but I just have to lay down right now. I'm trying to keep up all my fluids. Yeah, 8 weeks in. I don't know if I should give you a rundown on symptoms. I think I wrote it down. So seeing as I've picked up the camera, I'll just try and go through as much as I can of how I've been feeling. It's not cooperating with me. So when I found out, the way that I found out was that I was having these really hot flashes, and like I was going through menopause or something, and then they went away, and I was having these rashes that would come up in the evening and then go away by the morning, and they'd be so itchy, so itchy. And I was napping like for 2 hours every day, just feeling exhausted, and I had to always suck on like stem ginger that was caramelized. That was how I got through week 3. And week 4, so that was after my period was due, so I got symptoms so early on, which made me test. And week 4 I was having heartburn and a bit of reflux. I had headaches. I had a headache every single day since I ovulated. So yeah, it was at the same sort of time that it would come as well, so I kind of knew something was up really early on. And I had all day nausea, all day, like from when I woke up to when I went to bed, and it would intensify at the same sort of times each day. It was like clockwork, really, really strange. And I was wearing C-bands, which I've now lost, but these C-bands, and my group at the med school could tell something was up with me from even wearing that, so I just put it down to dizziness and vertigo. If they're watching this, they'll know now that I was really suffering with morning sickness then. And they were quizzing me, and I ended up having a laughing fit in my lecture and crying in my lecture as well. So yeah, this was crazy. Just my emotions were all over the place for that time. And I keep crying at everything now, even now. So week 5, the all-day nausea continued. It was the worst it had been, I think, in that week. And after my usual morning coffee, I just brought it back up like straight away, which made me really sad. I had an argument with a doctor's secretary, and I had some drama when I was in theatre. So they were doing an x-ray on the patient, and obviously I couldn't be in there because of the baby, so I had to tell everyone, and Cypriot culture has just broadcast everything, so the whole theatre knew that I was at this very early stage of pregnancy. But it was fine in the end, and I wasn't exposed to the radiation, which is good. But yeah, I just had a couple run-ins that week. I think I was quite sensitive and testy. Week 6, I was craving meat, so I'm a pescatarian, and I was really craving chicken and beef. So I just told myself I'll have meat once a week from when I crave it. I was looking online, and it's common for vegetarians to crave in the first trimester, so I'm hoping that that just dies down and I go back to not eating meat, because afterwards I feel satisfied, but mentally I'm just like, I really wish I didn't have to eat that. So in week 6, my doctor introduced me to these pills called Emil pills, and they are amazing. I'll insert a picture of them because I cannot get up right now. And they're amazing. They a combination of vitamin B6 and sodium, I think, and something. But anyway, they're amazing. And I take one in the evening, one in the morning, and it just keeps my nausea bearable, so I can study and like leave the house and stuff. The nausea's still there, it doesn't take it away completely, but it just makes everything way more bearable. That's kind of as far as I was going weekly. As I said, nothing much has changed. It eased in week 7, I think maybe because I was so distracted with exams, but now I'm week 8 and I am going on a trip soon, so I need to conserve energy and sort of find ways to combat the nausea, really. We're going on a trip in a couple days, so straight after exams, so I'm hoping I'll feel well enough. I've just been so fatigued this whole time and exhausted, and I just want to be at home during the days talking to my husband on FaceTime. Like, I don't want to be out socialising or anything. I don't know if this is the early stage of nesting, like, you know, they say sometimes you can nest in the first trimester. I think it's just being sick. Yeah, I just want to stay indoors and talk to him and not be out. But I've got really supportive friends here, and I've got some friends that I can't wait to tell as well. Yeah, I've definitely suffered from an increase in my anxiety during this time, which has been really tough because I've been like worrying and dealing with usual first trimester anxiety where you're worried the baby will be okay, and then dealing with like my grief from what happened earlier in the year and dealing with exam stress. But literally having like a constant mindset of prayer has really helped. After I lost my mum, I found it really difficult to pray and really difficult to talk to God, but as time's gone on, it's got easier. And my spiritual life isn't 100% and where it should be, but it's made me feel like God hasn't forgotten me by blessing me with this child, and a child is the ultimate blessing. So I know he definitely hasn't forgotten me, and my anxiety, yeah, it kind of got worse since falling pregnant. With exams as well, and with the distance from my husband, it's just been really tough. But like I said, I told a couple friends here, and they've been so supportive and checking on me. So I've been really, really thankful for that. Another symptom is spots. Like, my skin is usually perfectly clear, and I know that I should just be thankful for even that. But I've been getting spots, so we definitely know there's something cooking. So I have a scan in a couple of days, and I saw the heartbeat a couple of weeks ago at 6 weeks, and now they do scans so much more regularly here in Cyprus, because it's the private healthcare system. Looking forward to seeing my little bubby again. And I think by now he or she should have little arms and legs waving and kicking. I think they're going to be very, very, very small at this point, but either way, I can't be too mad at the morning sickness because it just shows that they're growing and they're sucking my energy and the life out of me. So they need to do what they need to do. Anyway, I'm going to nap or something to just try and feel a bit better. Ginger tea and mint tea. Mint tea has been really, really soothing. So those are a couple other things that have helped with the nausea. Hopefully I'll check in after my scan maybe, or with a week 9 or 10 update for you. But there's a quick update of what's been happening and how I've been feeling. Hi. Hello lovely people. I think we are a few weeks out from when I last picked up the camera to speak about Baba. So I am fully out of the first trimester now, thankfully. Oh, I'm so thankful. It was a rough first trimester, but I think people do have it rougher. I think mine was probably, if 10 is the worst first trimester that you could have, I think mine was probably a 7, maybe. A 6.5 to 7, so up there. So what do I want to talk about? The last few weeks of my first trimester were really tough. I had nausea well into my second trimester, and I even still have it now, but my nausea kind of let up at 11 weeks, and I thought, wow, okay, so this is what people are talking about when your nausea goes in the end of the first trimester, beginning of the second. I was like, yeah, this is it. No, it was 3 days that I think I had no nausea and I felt amazing, and then it all came back again and it was horrible. So I had a pretty rough time with that. Vomiting, sickness, majority of the day. Also with the early weeks, as I was having exams, I was trying to stay as hydrated as possible. It was quite hot then as well. It was middle of July, end of June, middle of July in Cyprus. So I was having lemon water, like ice cold lemon water with ginger in, fresh ginger, and I would drink that throughout the day when I was studying at home, and that really helped. One time I even had ice cream for dinner, so I would say just eat what you can, and I put on weight. I've put on quite a bit of weight, even though I was eating like randomly. I wasn't eating like full meals all the time, so I still managed to gain weight, and baby's really healthy and big, so just eat what you can when you can. Always listen to what your doctor says, but eat what you can when you can, because you need to get calories in whichever way you can. Being horizontal helps, so I was on my bed for the majority of the time when I wasn't studying and wasn't eating. Sometimes I even ate laying down, just because it relieved the nausea so much than sitting upright. I just used to feel so sick, and it got really depressing. You kind of lose the will when you're waking up every day and you're nauseous. You go to bed and you're nauseous. Every time you try and do something, you're nauseous. So those are things that I used. We even managed to travel to Italy, and we did this long road trip which we planned before I even fell pregnant. A long road trip through, I've got some vlogs that show it, but we started off in Rome and went all the way up to Venice, and whenever we were driving, if I wasn't driving, I would be flat out, the seat all the way back, staying hydrated, and my husband reminding me to have snacks, because that was the only way to get through. But it was an amazing trip, and my advice would be not to plan a trip during your first trimester, but if you've been trying for a little while, then you kind of don't know when it's going to happen. You can't put your life on hold, so like us, you might just end up with a random holiday in the middle of your morning sickness and nausea. I remember gagging as I was like packing my suitcase and things like that. Oh, yeah. But it's all worth it for my little bean. Have constant small snacks, that's what got me through. And other than the constant gas and reflux that you get, it's not been too bad now. I'll do a whole other video on my second trimester and how different it's been. But I am so glad my first trimester is over, and for any ladies that are still going through it, I understand what you're going through, and just know that it will get better in one way, shape or form. Unless you have hyperemesis, it might not get better anytime soon, but just hang in there. You're doing an amazing thing, your body is doing an amazing thing, you're growing a perfect little human, and it's the most amazing blessing. And hold out for those movements in the second trimester that you feel. They are just magical. Alright, so that's it. I thought I'd just finish up the first trimester before I start talking about my second, so stay tuned for my second trimester video. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.